Why?
What's up, guys, and welcome to VSGaming Open Division. I know it's the Prem Division, but that was just a mess up on my side. I am Tronok, and with me is Ghastly. How you doing, dude?
Hey, what's up, Tronok? Doing well. Good to be back.
Yeah, man, it's been a while since I heard you cast, but excited to see what these two teams have. It's Vendetta taking on Thunderclap Overwatch. What do you want to tell me a bit about one or two of these teams?
Well, honestly, the only team I've seen recently is Thunderclap. I haven't seen Vendetta play in a really long time. But what I can say from what I saw against Thunderclap, especially last night, going up against one of the really top teams, they really are bringing their A game to the season of Overwatch, especially with regards to VSGaming. So I'm very excited to see just this next step on their road, what looks like it's going to be the road to Prem for them. But from Vendetta, I'm really hoping they surprise me. I don't know the players too well. I know Lunatic. He used to be a part of Inex project. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what they can do against Thunderclap.
It's quite interesting because there's a lot of subs for Vendetta right now, and most of them are support mains. Who do you think is going to be flexing here? How do you think they're going to run this one?
Honestly, based purely on the fact that I think Lunatic has been around longer, he's got a little bit more experience, and I think he knows the game a little bit better. I think he might be the one they rely on to flex. But as I said, I don't really know the roster that well, so it could be anyone. I'm very new to what they're going to bring, so I'm really excited to see what they can do.
It looks like we're having a little bit of lobby issues, which means that we get to talk a bit more about these teams. And let's talk about Thunderclap. Essentially got Prem Division players in terms of individual players. How do you think Vendetta's going to like match up against these the skill of players such as Orexin, Defect, two really strong players, and then Vendetta a little bit of an unknown side, really?
Yeah, I mean, Vendetta, so they're unknown to me, but I think a lot of people who do know them, and I've watched a game or two of theirs in the past. You say they got subs. I mean, if they hope to make it to Prem, they've got to be comfortable playing against Prem teams. You know, they need to actually feel comfortable stepping up when the time comes. And even if they don't win today, this is how you grow, by playing teams that are better. So hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully we see a really intense game. But just based on what I've seen recently, it seems to be, I think Thunderclap's going to take it. They seem to be on a high. Even losing their match last night hasn't really dampened their spirits.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
They got a good spirit about it. Like I said, even losses is something that you learn from. I think Thunderclap understands that a bit better than a lot of the open division teams in general.
Well, yeah, you know, Thunderclap came into the season with a focus on getting to Prem and working really hard as a team to actually start competing at the top level in South African Overwatch. And, you know, just throughout the community, you can really tell that there's quite a hype about them. People are really excited to see what they can do at the Premier level. And you'll notice that within the community, they've got a lot of fans. They've got a lot of people rooting for them to get to Prem. And I think they're using that, and they're riding that sort of confidence wave, and it's just really helping them. It's really helping them push forward.
Apparently, need to restart my game. I don't know if you're having the same issue.
I'm not, but are you in? Yeah. I see the invites going.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit of bug issues to start with. But we are going to go to Busan first. Yeah, in South Africa especially. We are going to go to Busan first. Do you want to tell me about this map? Which ones do you want to see first? I, of course, love seeing Mecha Base first. It brings out the opportunity to see the May plays. But I don't know. What's your favorite part of the Busan play?
So for me, my favorite map is always the most difficult one to play. For me personally, I don't know the name of it, but it's the one with the train that goes by and all the way on the end.
Because downtown.
If you don't get the point initially, it's such a difficult point to attack. Even though, sort of, depending on how the defending team positions themselves. But I think the winner of that's going to get the hardest challenge of this map out of the way. So they'll be able to play really well going forward into the other map, play with confidence, and theoretically, if they get the point first, won't have as difficult a time capping.
That's true, but I mean, it would be great to see a big upset happen here, or at least like going to that final map, seeing all three of Busan is always fun.
So I love the map with the bell because the point's really small and it forces engagements because you can't sort of sit on one end of the point and just try to Ryan shield and then poke them off. You actually have to get involved and you have to fight, you have to brawl. So that's always a very exciting map, and obviously mecha based, just with all the avenues of attack, makes it a really interesting map to watch. It's nice to see how creative you can get. So 3 maps, yeah, that'd be ideal.
And especially like, I mean, there's all those sneaky drum plays you can do around Sanctuary, which, speaking of Sanctuary and the big drum, that's exactly where we're gonna go.
Yeah, I'm excited for this to be our start. What drum plays, dude?
Have you never
It's
seen people sitting on top of the drum and just capping it, like holding the point on top of the drum? And so many times I've seen teams unaware that there's someone sitting on top of the drum.
Okay, yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's happened to me, especially when it's a Lucio and like guys can't reach, people can't attack it, and you just sit there not getting point percentage. It's terrible.
I've seen divas hang up there, and then they get demixed and then just jump straight back onto the drum.
Yeah, I mean, isn't there an emote or something where you can sit down as a Lucio and then no one can hit you? You need a Pharah or a Genji. I mean, I've seen the GM streamers, you know, everybody at some point loses out to that. I don't want to say tactic, but it happens. You know, sometimes you don't notice.
That's true. That's the thing, is if it's being kept out, or you should just look on top of the drum, and a lot of people just start panicking, don't realize what's happening.
As a habit, you should.
Yeah. Yeah, but it looks like an Orisa hog for Vendetta. Quite an interesting choice of composition to attack this control point.
So, I mean, personally, I think Vendetta have the better comp to actually attack this point, and I don't know completely if the DPS on Thunderclap side quite complement their tanks. But here's the first engage from the fact that the Reaper is taking that.
Well, Spyro right now has just set his shield. Just going to use that minigun to spam down. Oh, a nice hook on Defect results in his death. Well played by Rinku there. And that's probably going to be it. As, it's like Thunderclap just backtracking here, going back to spawn. I think probably going to see some swap starts.
I mean, good discipline from Thunderclap, realizing the fight's probably lost. Oh, those are 2 really big picks from the DPS. I think Thunderclap might actually have the opportunity to engage now.
Yeah, you're talking about the DPS complementing this tank lineup, but they seem to be able to frag out quite nicely, which would definitely help their team. Oh, Senna going down to Yazy. That's going to open up that point, and it's just the Roadhog alive, and he has the potential to stay there as long as possible. It gets taken out, surrounded.
So, I wanna just come back to the DPS complementing the tanks. I don't really think that happened this fight. I think that the DPS sort of just popped off despite the tanks, and I think that fight, I'm gonna have to credit Yazy and Orexin with that. Those 2 picks on the Vendetta DPS just opened it up completely for them.
Yeah, opened up a lot more angles than Spyro could really handle. Ooh, Dragon Strike comes through. The shield's going to be meaningless. Dived upon immediately by Miru and the Winston. That could have been deadly for Vendetta's attack, but not too much happens from it. Nice self-destruct does get Lunatic, although the tanks still are ready to go. Sound Barrier is out from the Ninja, giving his team that little bit of extra armor, and that's just going to help them to really defend this point a little bit more. Now sitting on 50% and looking quite strong.
That Diva Bomb getting the Mercy was just really important there. That dropped one of the healers and ruined the res potential, so that was quite good. There was some good tank play from Defect as well, kiting around the Reaper. You can't get too close to him because he's absolutely going to shred you, and I'm sure Defect knows this as a main tank. So he's working really hard at just trying to tickle Reaper, just irritate him, steal his focus, but not get too involved.
Yeah, especially with the new lifesteal of that Reaper. Probably going to see a resurgence in the future. And the Beyblade is on the table. Got that Nano Boost Reaper if they want it.
I think that's what they're waiting for. That was such good defense measures.
Oh, but it doesn't matter right now because Rexon once again showing his skill with this Hunter, getting that charge up quite quickly, leaves the Reaper alone. And I mean, you can lifesteal as much as you want. You can't really help it when you got 6 players focusing you down.
Yeah, the DPS are just doing absolute work with Thunderclap. And I managed to sneak by.
Yeah, Xano was trying to just get a fingertip on that point as fast as possible. Unable to make it, so that's going to be it for first section of Busan as we hopefully head to downtown, because that's always a good second map, and it is indeed
Awesome.
your favorite map.
Yeah, I think Vendetta once again has the better composition for this map, but Thunderclap are able to take advantage of the verticality of it just with their tanks and the mobility of their heroes. Personally, I'm not a massive fan of Mercy because he's either going to have to be pocketing... Okay, Farmers, take that back.
I mean, it's a great place to put a Pharah. You got buildings that you can duck behind. A great place to get high ground for the Widow. So, all in all, not a bad composition for Thunderclap. They are going to go up against this more shieldy composition of Vendetta. It's also like they're expecting that Widow to come out.
Yeah, as long as they are just aware of the Widow's sightlines, Vendetta will be able to hold this reasonably well. If Soldier can get some pressure onto the Pharah, then they won't feel the damage so much. But then Defect going by just to harass them, turn them around.
Yeah, it's actually quite good work by Thunderclap to set up a very beautiful crossfire, lock them into that cubby hole, and that's pretty much going to finish them off quite quickly.
That was a clinical fight from Thunderclap. They just sort of pincered them into that little corner, and it just gives Winston so much damage with that lightning gun, because on a solo target he's not really doing that much, you know, it's damage melee. But then you've got a Rexon just smashing down rockets from above, and Yazi just punish positional errors. Vendetta swapping to a dive of their own. Junkrat seems a little out of place, but let's see what they can do against Thunderclap.
Yeah, quite an interesting choice of the Junkrat. Maybe just hoping to spam down space, deny some of the area. Songbird going to be taking it, opens up a lot more space for Rexon on the Pharah as Vendetta here trying to just dive up onto the high ground, remove Thunderclap from that dangerous position. This, of course, has left Rinku overexposed without a team, and that's going to get him punished. Defect sitting on this primal edge, doesn't need to use it just yet. He's got the... He's actually forced Vendetta to reset, basically on his own.
See, the reason I find the Junkrat quite out of position here is you're against a pharmacy, firstly, which is constantly in the air. You got Widowmaker, who's across the map, and then you got 2 incredibly mobile tanks, which kind of makes your easiest target the Zenyatta. But with the 2 DPS and the tanks getting in your way, and Zenyatta himself shooting at you, it's not an easy task. Oh, nano boost on Winston for Vendetta.
That could be quite a heavy one, but Rinku might just have overextending himself once again. Doesn't really have the support of the team. Lunatic had to pop that Valkyrie to get to him and help him out. So the nano boost in the end not used to its maximum effect. Now Primal Rage from Defect is just going to bash a lot of Vendetta away from this point. Rinku once again last remaining. Yeah, gets support from Soldier 76 though, and is looking to just focus down the Widowmaker. But at this point, his team is mostly already lost, and he'll probably want to get out of that situation. And that's going to be a stagger as a result.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't think Vendetta are doing enough to counter Thunderclap. Thunderclap, don't get me wrong, are playing incredibly well. I just don't feel that Vendetta are actually picking anything to stop Thunderclap's pressure. They're just allowing them to kind of have all the space they want. The dive was a good idea, but they didn't really have the DPS and support to complement that dive so well. There was no follow-up on the nano boost. Oh, look at that play. That's exactly what Thunderclap were hoping to do. Attacking from 2 angles and just forcing that room into that little hole.
Yeah, it was a very well executed play on their part. And I just don't think Vendetta were quite aware of all the sight lines that were available to them.
Yeah, They need to watch their positioning, but they also need to see. They need to focus on what Thunderclap is doing. And Thunderclap are just jumping around, and they're making themselves very hard to track, very hard to deal with. And I think if Thunderclap, if Vendetta just find a way to slow them down, you know, with the Junkrat, if you want to play a Junkrat, build your comp around that Junkrat. Don't go dive where a more sort of complementary hero would be preferred, but instead throw a Junkrat who requires additional support, which takes away from the dive tank, and he's not really having that much effect because he only has 1 or 2 targets he can realistically hit. And I think that's a mistake they made there. So if they just make their compositions complement each other more, they're going to see much more success.
It's possible that the Junkrat was more of a comfort pick, probably a hero that player is more comfortable on, wanted to just see, like I said, maybe just a nice space. I mean, at this point, Thunderclap were holding the high ground, so like you're saying, he wasn't going to have much of an effect, especially, I mean, he was spamming through the alleyways on the road rather than trying to actually focus them off the high ground.
Yeah, I understand. The Junkrat can be used really well to deny space, but not when there's so much verticality, especially with no roof. You know, there's so many avenues of attack for a dive composition that Thunderclap were bringing, and I just don't feel the Junkrat was as effective. The Soldier was a good pick, obviously, to deny the Pharah the freedom that, you know, Rex had wanted with her, but you need to be a little more clinical. You need to click some heads, because as we saw in the play of the game, the Pharah was just raining rockets and was largely uncontested. So I think Vendetta are able to realize this. I don't know if they have experience with Thunderclap previously, but I'm sure they'll learn as the match progresses.
They're gonna probably need to learn a bit faster here, because Dorado is obviously one of those maps where the Pharah also has a bit of relevance, especially in the first section. I mean, use of that high ground. I don't know if Thunderclap will run the Pharah, but I mean, it's definitely available for them.
Well, I mean, this other DPS that just came in, Sniper Wipe, subbing in for Spyro. I think that's a DPS aligned player in for a more support aligned player. So hopefully, there's a little bit more of a clinical finish on certain kills. Just judging by hours, I see some hit scan. So hopefully they'll deny the Pharah some space. I'm interested to see what sort of tank composition Thunderclap wants to run here. I don't know if for this first point dive's going to be the best, but it seems to be what they're comfortable on, and they seem to practice it a lot. And if you're a good dive composition, incredibly hard.
One of the things that interesting to me most about South African Overwatch is how relevant dive still is. How you don't see, I mean, the staple right now is your Zen Goats, and you're trading out your Diva for a May or a Winston more times than not. But instead, you see mostly just dive being run, or the typical 2-2-2s.
So, in my opinion, Goats is a bit boring to watch, and
it's boring to watch, but it works, right?
It can be boring to play as well. It does work. It's effective when you need to grind out results. And I don't think South Africa teams, yes, we're results focused, but we also want to win with style. You want to have fun playing. Like, you want to be able to enjoy the game. And you want to, if you got to just, you know, grind, like, have you seen Goats vs. Goats games? How they can be, I mean, it's depressing. That's the whole of the pro scene right now.
When a fight goes on for 30 minutes because they're both running Goats, you can say that both those guys probably aren't having the best time.
I mean, honestly, I don't think Goats would be a bad idea. Oh, big opening pick for Yeezy. That's the DPS pressure going.
Yeah, that's great for the man. It was good pressure from the dive tanks. Diva Winston to just jump down from this roof and then just retreat to it. Just wait for Vendetta to fall back into this trap. Defect does go down once again. Sniper Wipe is a bit exposed from behind. But Riku taking Yeezy alleviates some of that pressure. Revive on Yeezy, however, brings it right back. So Vendetta having a little bit of a struggle here, and Thunderclap just doing everything they power to try full hold this, it seems.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what Lunatic was doing there positionally. He was up on the top. That was a really good pick from Rinku, but then, you know what, they didn't really have the pressure to go babysit that corpse. I just think the dive's going to be a little too much, because the tanks are going to disrupt them. They're going to create so much space for the snipers. It's going to be hard for the Zarya to build charge. The Reinhardt's going to have a shield demolished so quickly from Hanzo. I think they need a counter dive here, or go Goats. I think Goats would help them now.
Yeah, Zengoats will definitely help them out, especially to make sure that those orbs are on these dive tanks. Just shut them down with the Brigida. Fortunately, they are just going to try out this hold composition again. Do manage to get Defect off with the excellent charge by Sniper Wiper. That's going to open that up quite a bit. It's a little bit unfortunate here for Maznes, though, on this replay. It does have to get quite close up to have an effect, and it's just going to get countered by those double snipers of the Hanzo and the Widow. Dragon strikes through, takes out the Sport, but it hasn't yet stopped the movement of Vendetta.
I mean, there's some good picks for Vendetta here. Defect obviously has to play a lot more carefully. Oh, okay, there comes the Primal Rage.
Carefully, and then pops a Primal Rage on the payload. Yeezy's just uncontested in the alleyway, trying to spam down with the auto rifle function of his gun.
I think maybe just a cautionary deep. Oh no! Missing that charge of effect. Shame. That's close. It happens.
So Vendetta do have the Graviton Surge available, and they are going to have the Dragon Blade up. That's quite a powerful composition if used properly, but doesn't look as if they are ready to do it just yet. There we go. Grab is out. Dragon Blade nowhere to be seen, but the grab is good, and it does manage to catch two as a result. That's going to be a good moment for Vendetta. They're looking to catch this first point on the get-go, but Rexon and Miru are saying no right now, and they're just going to hold it out for as long as possible. Get the key picks, finally supported by Tugo and Ninja coming in with the clutch Zenyatta plays. Dragon Blade is out, unable to find anyone. Okay, as I say that, just to prove me wrong, gets Rexon off. But it's a struggle of a fight for Vendetta right now, as it's just Songbird and the Lucio left, and of course Defect just gonna hard counter him with that electric gun.
I'm gonna say I feel like Sniper Wiper had questionable moments there. See, coming in again, if he gets picked now, see, that's like a discipline thing, you know. You gotta understand when it's time to retreat and you lost the fight.
Yeah, that's a huge stagger for Sniper Wiper. He should not have been that aggressive when he was alone. Once again, the Dragon Strike to open it up, just open up the defense for...
Yeah, I mean, Vendetta seem to be a little all over the place right now. I think a Zenyatta would have helped them a lot more. The Rhino needs to remove his shift key.
Yeah, just a little bit of overextension from Vendetta, especially like you said on the part of the Reinhardt.
The thing is, if you're getting no value with the charges, you're losing value from other things. You got a massive shield, you got a 75 damage a hit hammer, you got a 100 damage fire strike. You know, use some of those things. Be a meat shield. Charging just kind of, if you miss a charge, you've just gone into like a negative value. And I'm not quite sure if Sniper Wipers realized that yet, but in that last fight when they almost capped the point, you know, that was... dude, is the payload still here?
It'll reset in 10 seconds.
Okay, cool. But yeah, I just think they were losing a lot of value with the Reinhardt charging like that, and it wasn't helping them because then they were kind of man down in the fight. Okay, it looks like way more of a dive composition coming attack from Thunderclap. I personally don't really like the Zarya with the Orisa. I find it's a lot harder to build charge when the shield's static, because the Orisa's almost never walking in front to take the damage. So Zarya is going to be relying mostly on a personal barrier charge, and using her projectile one just, I guess, to save teammates. I think the Junkrat's actually a good pick here. They managed to hold this choke, but I think they would have been better getting a Roadhog or a D.Va.
Yeah, it's an interesting combination having the Zarya with an Orisa.
Yeah, I think it's probably the least effective tank duo next. But hopefully they can make it work themselves. They've got a little bit of a mountain to climb.
Well, Mazin is already getting boosted or pocketed from the start. Just going to try spam down. Miru comes in with a Rocket Barrage, puts pressure on that Orisa shield. Are still going to be holding this high ground eventually, and good dive from Defect does come out. That's going to force out most of that defense, really. Sniper Wiper once again found alone. Mazin is not going to be able to defend him all on his own, but a good... Was that a Valkyrie from Lunatic? No, it wasn't. Lunatic did his best to keep Sniper Wiper alive. Does effectively succeed, and of course they now move down to try hold the choke from the ground. The better play, Miru gets put to sleep. The Ana doing a little bit of work for this team, and it looks like Thunderclap are having a little bit of a harder time getting through here than they probably thought they would have.
So naturally the heroes they have aren't perfect for destroying the Orisa shield, so their only option here is to actually dive them. And that leaves them open to the Junkrat. And Ashe spamming from far, I'm actually a fan of what, except for the Zarya, I'm a fan of what Vendetta are doing here. I'd like to see a Zen though. I think a Zen would help them a little bit more, but Mercy Ana's not my favorite composition, but it seems to be working for them right now.
Well, the Ninja with that Transcendence gonna open up a nice little pocket of healing for Thunderclap to get through. But it doesn't seem to be capitalized on too much, and the Supercharger is out. Sniper Wiper, unfortunately, not looking behind him. Songbird does get revived, and he is almost up on that Graviton Surge, but it's not really going to help him too much, as he's just going to get completely taken out while in the Graviton Surge. I mean, that's what the Winston's going to do. He's just going to keep holding that left click if you try to push Graviton Surge over. Bob gets nano boosted. Interesting, relying on the Bob, and obviously had zero effect. Probably just a misclick from the Ana, and now it's just Lunatic left alive, trying to keep this going. Sniper Wiper switching out onto the Winston to try and get some high mobility, get back onto the payload as fast as possible. Fortunately, as the tail of this whole game, he's once again alone.
Ooh, he played at the Riptide.
And that's going to be it. Some good work from Erexon just to take that Dragon Blade all the way to the spawn of Vendetta and make sure they can't actually get out and contest.
For me, the real hero there was Yazy. That dude had 3 people trying to focus him in the back line, and they were just unable to. A little unfortunate. I think there's potentially a communication issue. People aren't sort of working together from the side of Vendetta to focus these guys down enough. I think a couple more scrims could help them out. Just really, you gotta like lose a lot in really tough situations to find out where your communication thrives. And I think eventually they will get there.
Yeah, just build that team synergy a little bit more, work out. And one of the things that, like you pointed out, Zarya and Orisa don't really make a good hero composition or a good tank duo. So working out what heroes work with who is an important part of scrimming.
I mean, if they put the typical with Orisa, it's a Roadhog, from what you see in a higher tier scene, and having those two together, that would have shut down the dive more with the Junkrat. Anyone lands in the trap, that's a hook. Anyone makes one positional error, that's a hook. So,
yeah, especially, the Orisa shield's great at being used for isolation. If you get one of your opponents behind your shield with that, like you said, Roadhog hook, that person's effectively dead.
Yeah, and also, Orisa sort of denies healing from the Ana when people dive. So she can't shoot through the Orisa shield, so she has to reposition herself. That could force an error. That could be something Roadhog capitalizes. Even a D.Va allows more mobility. Zarya is unfortunately a bit locked to the front line, so she can maintain charge, build up those gravitons faster. So it's hard for her to go support the team, and as you saw when they capped the point there, both the tanks were in the front line, getting almost no support from the rest of the team, just because there was one Doomfist harassing Vendetta's backline, the Ashe, Mercy, and the Junkrat. And so there was just not a lot of effect from everybody there.
Okay. That's an unusual map pick.
Blizzard World.
Oh, it's meant to be Assault, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, it's with Control Point, Escort, Assault, Hybrid. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, you're right. I think they've realized the chat.
Yeah. I'm looking now. If they were going to go to Blizzard World, that would be cool, because I unfortunately haven't had to see in Hybrid yet, and that's one of the stronger maps in South Africa generally. So I was hoping for a great competition there, but we are going to go to Hanamura now.
Hanamura is a great map, but it really tests you. Hanamura can be one of the most frustrating maps to play, especially if two maps down. This is a hard one to sort of start your reverse sweep on. there's a very frustrating choke, and I just think, going up against the sort of force that Thunderclap have shown today, this must seem like quite a task for Vendetta.
It's also one of those maps that can just go on forever. People often call it bonus Overwatch or draw on a mirror, because it is possible just to keep drawing each team getting 2 each round.
I mean, I've been in games, I've been on the winning and losing side where you're 6 minutes ahead, or they've got 1 minute and you got 6 minutes, and then on the second round they get 2 points and you get 2 points both in overtime, and then it's either a draw or it's a 1 minute each, and it's so disappointing, and it's so demotivating when you work so hard and achieve nothing in these maps. But this will give us, I think this favors Vendetta's picks. This map will favor Vendetta's picks, at least the first point. And if Thunderclap are able to dive through that initial choke, then I think it's their map to take. But until such a point, my money's sort of on Vendetta to hold this choke for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, given how Vendetta loves playing that Orisa comp, it's quite a nice comp to work here. I mean, Orisa Bastion is not uncommon to first point Hanamura. I would be interested to see if Thunderclap bring out the Symmetra. It's also one of those new age strats. Symmetra teleport straight onto point, just trying to bypass the defense completely.
Oh, it looks like Vendetta might actually attempt that. That could be cool. I really think they should just go goats. They'll have more success dealing with the dive of Thunderclap, but Thunderclap have a real bunker down comp here. They have 2 tanks just sort of bruising in the front line there, and then they've got Erexin, who we know can just punish on Hanzo from far away. They've got Yezi and Torbjorn, which is always a great to watch play.
I dig the Symmetra. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no problem. If it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, then you'll find, because they're going to be going to the back where there's an Ana nade and a Discord orb waiting for them.
Well, let's see what they do. I haven't noticed Erexin very sneakily hiding on this building, and he's just going to be looking to focus down, get a quick focus down. That Brigida, obviously we're expecting the dive, and but Brigida going down fast, not going to be good. Even though they do get onto the back cap, that leaves them with quite a disadvantage on this team fight, on the control point, and that's looks like it could be it. But then Rinku comes out to play with the Symmetra, and that's building up damage that gun provides. Does get taken out. Erexin finally works his way back to the point. Tugel getting involved here, just putting Songbird to sleep, but she's the only one left on point, and Vendetta look to like they're going to take this. Oh, but Erexin comes back, and that's eventually just going to win it out and probably get 3 ticks.
Yeah, you see, that
Symmetra plays ghastly. That's what did it.
Okay, you know what? Symmetra played well. I have faith in that play. I do think that the issue there, I once again think the Reinhardt was kind of letting them down a little bit. Firstly, he charged, missed, and got slept. And okay, he eventually did get 2 picks. That was nice. He had a successful charge towards the end, but that point could have been capped faster, and they sustained heavy losses. That's a funny sleep dart under Ninja.
Keeping him guessing. Oh, that could be a good Dragon Strike as it goes to those tight corridors. Does get the Songbird out, and then Sen falls shortly after, and Thunderclap just converged. So no snowball here for Vendetta. Although Sniper Viper is going to have that Earth Shatter for the next team fight, while there's not going to be any ult advantage on Thunderclap's side.
Yeah, the best they can hope for is just a nano boost effect or Miru and just let them harass. If Yeezy's able to build up some ult charge, obviously that's first prize. But I think the composition attacking the right side is going to help them if they can deal with the Hanzo quickly enough. Because I think right now their biggest problem is that Erexin is just largely uncontested, just raining down.
Yeah, and Erexin's getting that out up very fast. They do dupe him out of that Dragon Strike. That's a great moment now. They can just push in. Unabated Lunatic's going to be able to counter the Genji quite nicely, as they do just blitz up the stairs. No speed boost from a Lucio to really help them through here though. And looks like Thunderclap ready to just hold it as much as possible. Discord is on Mazness. That's going to put him in a bit of a bad situation. The balcony is highly contested now. Only Miru to contest. And that's going to be it. Vendetta have the opportunity to jump down onto the point, looking to get this capture. And are getting quite a lot of nice picks in their favor. Once again, Dragon Strike. Rexen maddeningly fast to get that outcharge up. The Ninja comes in with the Transcendence. That's going to help just defend this point out a little bit more. And of course, it leaves only an Anna who hopefully doesn't get staggered. Actually just going to commit suicide. And now it's Masness going to get staggered.
See, I think Vendetta should have gotten onto that point sooner. The composition they're running favors much closer combat than what they're actually doing. If Vendetta got into the point, they could make use of the Brigitte, and then they leave the Ashe upstairs to actually contest. What was happening was Ashe jumped down first onto the point, which is a little bit of a mistake. But they're realizing this slowly. I mean, just this composition they're running alone, they're sort of seeing where the strengths of Thunderclap are, or from what they've seen so far. And I think as they learn to deal with that, they're just going to improve and improve. I'm not quite sure what they're doing strategy-wise here.
Yeah, it's a bit weird because they've left Sniper Wiper behind right now. He often seems to be caught not with the team, or the team leaves him behind, and that's what happens though, is the Dragon Blade is just going to tear through. Bob does get launched and is looking to just spam down with that machine gun. Earthshatter solo on Defect. Might not work quite out in Sniper Wiper's favor. He's still on that Primal Rage train. They do eventually take him out though, and now they have an opportunity to take this point. This is just Tugel, Yazy, and Ninja trying to contest. It's a very squishy contest in there, but it actually works out for them as they also have a lot of damage on their side.
Dude, so Sniper Wiper needs to realize where his strength in relation to the rest of his team are. He needs to play with them. The whole point of composition like this almost entirely relies on the Reinhardt to just be the focus of it. Okay, they've swapped. I think they need to work on some strats, work on communication a little bit more. They need to organize them a little bit better. That's where you see Thunderclap, who are coming across as well killed. That's a big pick from a Rexen. That's going to force out an early res.
I mean, you talk about Sniper Wiper not being with his team, and that's with a Reinhardt. I mean, we've seen him with the Winston be just as aggressive and be completely left behind by his team. So I don't know if this is the right choice in trying to keep him under wraps and control him down. Ooh, that's going to be a Dragon Strike that seals his fate in the end, as once again his team runs away, leaves him in his bubble by himself, and that's going to end it out because you don't have that Winston, you don't have the bubble, and now they just got to hope that they don't get staggered too badly.
See, I don't see sort of the communication. I don't feel the communication coming from Vendetta. I don't feel like they're saying, okay guys, we're all gonna go here, or hey, the Genji's on me in the back line. I don't see that. Is that a fat finger?
That was one of the earliest Dragon Blades I've ever seen, and obviously he gets nothing for it. Erexon looked like he jumped down, he has the nano boost to try help out, and right now Thunderclap just threw away two very good ultimates. Still do have the Dragon Strike, Defect pops that Primal Rage, trying to just stall out Vendetta as long as possible, but they are going to get through with the help of Bob. Sniper Wiper has been nanoed himself, and is just going to do damage in that backline. The Ninja comes out with a clutch Transcendence, resulting in the death of Sniper Wiper, and this double self-destructive point could result in a lot of death, and that's going to be 3 people to a self-destruct, but unfortunately for Vendetta, it was in the favor of Thunderclap.
Yeah, questionable Bob may have opened up the fight. Where he landed is not where I'd prefer it. But double hit scan, I don't know if they're going to be able to actually contest Erexon well enough, because he's clearly being the biggest problem here. But you know, not all the credit goes to him. He's just sort of showing us the best results. I mean, it's the whole team and the space they create for him. They allow him to do whatever he wants. See, even losing the mech early, that's just not something you can have with 49 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, like you're saying, I mean, the fact is they're allowing Erexon to be wherever he wants to be on this map, and Vendetta aren't doing it and shut it down. And then you have exactly that. Erexon has the space to work with, and Thunderclap kind of just corral Vendetta to where they want them to go and get the easy picks.
I mean, what Miru and Erexon are doing now, that's just a shame.
you know, try force them to stay there as long as possible, get a nice stagger, and that's exactly what they do get. Mazina's about to get demeched. Is not what you want with 10 seconds to go. Spinal Fight territory, and if you don't get someone on this payload now, that's going to be not going to be a good position to be in for Vendetta on their defense. Songbird alone as Vendetta just frantically scrambling in. Do manage to get the overtime counter going, but Maznus once again low on health in that mech, not going to survive without it. Too much out potential for Thunderclap here, and they're just probably going to easily hold out Vendetta, and that overtime counter is just going to finish off.
Yeah, Thunderclap are showing us such a disciplined style of play. They okay, so the DPS tend to overextend once or twice. Like, I see them. I don't think that's something you'd find them doing in a different game. I don't think that's something you'd find them doing when they 2-0 up.
Initiating match.
But overall, I think the tanks, they've been working together really well. Miru and Defect are actually proving to be quite a formidable partnership. I mean, honestly, that's just practice. You know, they've been scrimming. You see them asking for scrims a lot. You know, they're asking for advice. They're asking how to improve. You see that they're actively trying to become a Prem level team, and they got that desire, which I just don't think Vendetta are showing us right now.
The thing is, Vendetta is also playing with, I think, 3 subs it was. If I'm taking the main roster as what's listed on their team sheet, then they've got 3 subs in here. Could play an influence on how the team works together synergy-wise and communication-wise. Maybe just a little bit more practice with your reserves if you are having games where you are playing them a lot.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I agree. Having missing half your core rosters is a massive setback. You know, it's incredibly difficult to perform at the same level with people who you just aren't as accustomed to. I mean, if you know that you're not going to have your core roster, that's especially against a team like Thunderclap, then it's crunch time. You know, you got to actually put in a little bit more practice than you normally would. Get some higher level scrims. Just understand the game. Learn how to play at a higher level. You just have to push yourself to that. That's what it takes to get to Prem. Ninja being sneaky.
Yeah, being quite sneaky. Almost lost his life though. It's just going to get focused down. This is a bad move from Vendetta's part though, because they just going to leave that entrance exposed. Although, it doesn't really matter, as they do manage to just force Thunderclap back a little bit. Fortunately, not for too long. Thunderclap now just going to bash their way through. They do have the Ninja just giving that constant aura health. Not a lot, but enough to be confident on your attack with. Just keep getting harassed by these Symmetra Tunnels, stunned down by the Brigida, and that's actually quite a good defense from Vendetta in the end, coming out from a disadvantage to come out on top.
I don't understand. They have a massive Reinhardt shield, but they seem so reluctant to play behind it. I mean, I saw Soldier and Anna just on the side there. I mean, when you got a Hanzo like
you can shoot through the shield if it's yours. You know?
Exactly. When you got a Hanzo like a Rexon, you know, you can't allow that. You can't make those mistakes.
Yeah, you can't be feeding him that much outcharge. EMP on the point is just going to seal Vendetta's fate right now as they just get bashed away. And you just see Lunatic on this Brigida working as hard as possible, rallying up, trying to hold this point on his own almost, as just trying to keep his team supported up, using that Inspire to keep them going. But it's actually working out quite nicely for them. It looks like Thunderclap aren't too sure how to deal with this point.
They got numbers on the point. Oh my god, they're actually pulling this back. And they didn't give up a tick. That's some really good play from Vendetta. They got back in time and they actually performed really well there. I thought Lunatic was absolutely a hero there, keeping everybody alive. That's a nice sleep. I don't think it's worth capitalizing on that, especially with the Rexon close by. You just stay behind the Reinhardt shield. Don't get caught with those random headshots, because then you start the fight at such a disadvantage.
One of the